Hi, this is Trey from NintenDomain Podcast. So, Nintendo had a really good year for 2017. Lots of great games, plus a really great system that sold faster than anything else. I want to do my top 10 best Nintendo games of 2017. But since me and pretty much any other Nintendo fan would have Super Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on their list, I think that this time we're going to do a list of the top 10 2017 Nintendo games without Super Mario Odyssey or Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So technically it's a top 12, 2 and 1 are pretty much the same on everybody's list. So to make it interesting, I took them off. Here we go! First up, we got number 10, Star Fox 2. This is a game that I would have never expected to ever be on my list for any year after 1994. But for the Super Nintendo Classic, Nintendo decided to release an old game that was never supposed to be released before, and I was super excited. The Super Nintendo is my favorite system of all time, so being able to get a brand new game now, totally blew me away. It may look familiar, it may look like Star Fox Command on the DS, and a lot of it is, but it's just so cool to be able to play this piece of history now, finally, now that it's being released in the Super Nintendo Classic. You get to see all the cool 3D levels that are in there with the R-Wing, and you get to run around as the Chicken Walker and change at any time from one to the other. It truly is a spectacular piece of history from the 90s. And if you like 10 frames per second, it's totally worth it. This is a list of my favorite games, so this was definitely one I had to have there on number 10. So fire up that Super Nintendo Classic and get to exploding low-poly bad guys on Star Fox 2. Get back and get that one-eyed bastard. And at number 9, we have Mario Party, the top 100. I am a huge fan of Mario Party. I even went as far to make myself a Mario Party belt out of old PBR cases. But Mario Party is back. This is the last 3DS game that I purchased this year, and definitely the one I played the most. It only has one map, but there's 100 different games on there, and a single-player mode where you can go through and play 100 games from all of the 10 Mario Party games. If you are a huge fan like me that has played Mario over the years, Mario Party the Top 100 is definitely worth your money. And on top of that, it also has download play, probably the best thing ever. So only one of you has to get it, and if you have friends with 3DSs, you can all play together. It's Mario Party the Top 100 at number 9. Coming in at number 8, we have another 3DS game, Ever Oasis. A beautiful game brought to you by Koichi Ishii, who was responsible for the Secret of Mana games and worked on the Saga games, aka Final Fantasy Legend games on Game Boy. This beautiful game is a mixture of town management like Animal Crossing and dungeon exploring like Legend of Zelda. Each of the characters that live in your town will have different things that you need to go find in the desert for them. You'll go out searching for them to help them expand their towns, and you will use that to expand your oasis. Plus you will find crazy little characters that can help you get into different parts of the dungeons. They can turn into little balls and roll around and flip things for you. You'll basically go through and explore the dungeons, and every once in a while there will be an evil that lurks that will come to the oasis, and you'll have to fight these giant purple weeds. It's a super cute, very fun game, and definitely deserves to be on the top 10 2017 games from Nintendo. Definitely check it out if you're into Zelda or Animal Crossing and you'd like to see both of them together, which I always consider to be the perfect equation in a game. Coming in at number 7, Sonic Mania. For all those kids that loved Sonic back in the day and defended that 2D game on Sega Genesis, all your friends are here. You got Knuckles, you got Tails, you got Sonic in Sonic Mania. The original levels are in here and they're remixed to make them longer. There's super fast action. And there's even bonus levels that are fun to play on here with 3D reminiscent of Sega Saturn. Sonic and his friends are at it again as they blow through brand new levels, also like this movie themed level, complete with popcorn effects. And live satellite transmissions. And also camera slates. Sonic Boom indeed, as you get to play brand new bosses and even some cool nods to other games in there as well. Definitely check out Sonic if you're a fan of the original 2D Sega Genesis stuff. Sonic Boom. And coming in at number 6, we got Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap. Pretty much the best way to remake an old game from Sega Master System, or any old game for that matter. You have a really cool new art style that you can use, or you can switch to the original sprites from the original game. It's so well remade that you can even use passwords that you had from the original game on it, and they still work. The story involves Wonder Boy going after the dragon bad guy here, which you can play in new and old graphics. Once you defeat it, Wonder Boy gets transformed into a different form. You spend the rest of the game as that form. Well, you'll be one form for a while and then you'll find a way to become a different one, hoping that in the end you'll eventually turn back into Wonder Boy. The game works like a Metroidvania game as you collect keys and other items to help you access different parts of the map, which is connected to the main town hub world. You can turn into different things: the lizard, the mouse, the fish, the lion, the owl. Changing into all these different animal forms will help you get back to the castle where you originally turned into Lizard Boy. You will go back and avenge the one who transformed you and turned back into Wonder Boy or Girl. Hi. Number 5, we got a game from Way Forward. The best thing to come out of a terrible movie, we have The Mummy Demastered. For all of you who are looking for Metroid type games, this is probably the most Metroid, non-Metroid thing you can get on the Switch. It looks very much like a Super Nintendo game on steroids. It's almost, you could even call it a Controidvania type game. You go through, you can find new abilities hidden in statues. There's even a map much like Super Metroid and Castlevania. You get new weapons to destroy evil things with. You get to shoot zombies and spiders and other crazy bugs. You also get to fight giant cool bosses. Mummy Demastered is great if you like horror games and you like Castlevania games, you like Metroid, or you like Contra. I definitely call it a Controidvania game. Totally worth your time and definitely worth the spot of number 5. Get that dragon. 4. Coming in at 4. Of course, it's perfect. Number 4 is Golf Story for Nintendo Switch. If you were ever a fan of those original Mario Golf games, Golf Story is the perfect pick for you. There's a map with all different places to go to, and you can walk around and talk to all sorts of different people here. It's like golf, but it's an RPG. If you miss those old Game Boy Advance Mario Golf games, this is the game for you. You can jump in, do some putting. You know, see all different types of levels. There's a snow level. There's a dinosaur level. There's even some frisbee golf in here. As you golf, you have to deal with the animals who might steal your balls, and you can also hit hidden switches to find secret areas. Golf Story is a great quirky little game with all sorts of different things to do. It'll leave you busy for a long time. So if you like golf and you like ultimate precision, Golf Story is the game for you. Coming in at number 4. Samus has officially returned in Metroid Samus Returns. Number 3 on my top 10 list of 2017 Nintendo games has to be Metroid. After being lost for so many years after Other M and Federation Force, Samus has returned with a proper 2D sequel, well, mostly a remake of the Metroid 2 game on Game Boy Original. This time it's in full color and you have a map and totally in 3D. Definitely don't miss out on this game. Even though it came out after the Switch launch, it's still an incredible game with lots of bosses and all sorts of melee combat, which takes a minute to get used to, but once you get used to it, the game is definitely great. There's beautiful levels, all sorts of weapon upgrades, and all sorts of different bad guys coming after you, and crazy cool different bosses. And of course, you know, all the things that you love about Samus, and Metroid is back in Metroid Samus Returns on Nintendo 3DS. It's a great thing to play while you wait for Prime 4. Now we're down to our last 2. Number 2 is Mario plus Rabbids. Do you remember when this crazy game was rumored for so long? All those different leaks before E3. We thought it was probably the worst idea of all time. But it turns out this crazy idea about little rabbits zapping thing with a 2-into-1 gun and getting stuck in a laundry machine with a Mario picture on their face ended up turning into a pretty good game. As Mario gets attacked by the rabbits in a very super cinematic fashion with great cutscenes and great graphics on this game. He does what he can to try to save his friends who get pulled into the vortex that is the crazy rabbits and their 2-into-1 gun. But of course Mario's always up for the task and ready to go. He's with all of his kooky different crazy friends that are in there in the form of new rabbit versions of all the characters. He's so into it that he even gets an arm cannon, which is pretty crazy. Never expect to see Mario with a gun. But they're all there. There's Rabbit Peach, there's Rabbit Luigi, Rabbit Mario, Rabbit Yoshi. They're all in there, all the different fans. You get to take the team and run around the world and go exploring in between while you're not fighting. Use the little Roomba and roam till your heart's content. Until you find yourself in a strategy battle. Mario plus Rabbids is basically like Fire Emblem, except it's a little bit easier. There's no permadeath, and you can still win with like one guy left, and your guys won't be completely dead afterwards. Basically use the different characters to strategize the best way to get rid of your opponents. And what's cool about this versus Odyssey is this one actually has Luigi in it and as playable, and it also has a ghost area. There are also big bosses to fight in the game. Big, heavy bosses at the end of every level, which you must strategize ways to outflank them and destroy them. And there are also quirky, weird little cutscenes in there, where Peach gets to finally shine. Has all the fun quirkiness of a Mario game and a Rabbids game. Plus there's skill trees that you can use to make your character stronger in all different ways. It's basically like leveling up, so get out and grind and get those orbs to get your skill tree better. With all the extra stuff that you can unlock on every level, the game is definitely replayable. It's totally worth it, and it makes it totally deserving of number 2. And last, but definitely not least, it's Doom for Nintendo Switch. I know it technically came out last year for PS4, but it's never been portable before. Now you can point this in the face of all the naysayers that said that the Switch couldn't handle next generation games like this with the intensity that it deserves. This game is great, it's fast, and it's fun, and it's super gory. Let's smash that skeleton head right there. Yeah, destroy everything. Doom is great for anyone who's felt left behind by new FPS controls, like stuff brought about by like Call of Duty or Halo. This is the love letter to you. There's no regenerating life. There's no holding 2 weapons at once. It's just a fast, mad, fun, destructive kill frenzy. Plus, there's all sorts of crazy satanic imagery in there as well. I mean, we all miss the days when there were demons in our video games, right? And we weren't just shooting Nazis. I know I do. The game looks superb in docked and handheld mode. I mean, anybody who says that this game looks bad, I really don't understand. I mean, take a look here. I think Doom looks great, and it's totally portable. So much fun to destroy all those skeletons and listen to all the metal in the background. It's best to be played at high volume with your headphones on so you can feel that metal as you destroy those demon heads. You can even unlock pixelated levels from the original Doom. Play through them with the new graphics for your guns and the bad guys. It's super fun. Comes with the original soundtrack as well, and you get to play through old games but still destroy the guys, the way you would in the new game. There's also multiplayer on there, which is completely free. You can play online and throw grenades at your friends in all sorts of crazy demonic looking levels. Makes the game go on after you complete the single player. There'll be all sorts of online stuff that you can deathmatch your buddies against, which also feels a lot like Quake 3. Doom is overall a triumphant number 1, aside from Mario and Zelda. You should definitely get it for the Switch. And if you like hearing my voice, you should check me out at NintenDomainPodcast.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the video.